Hello again, welcome to the Gospel Garage. Hope you're getting a blessing from this. I know I sure am. Tonight I want to come to you and I want to tell you a lesson about the little things. You know, sometimes the Lord He just gives you a little insight to His Word and to, I guess, the way He thinks. I'll tell you it's a funny story here. One night after dinner, I was gathering the dishes to put into the dishwasher. And I came upon a glass that was on the counter. You know, I usually leave a water glass sitting on the back of the counter. I'm so much like my grandmother. It's kind of funny. She would always leave a drinking glass on the back of the counter. The drinking glass was half full of water this time, and it had a blob of something in it, and I mean it was huge, you know, thinking of a glass of water, and the glass was about half full of water, and it had this blob of stuff in it. It was huge, and it kind of resembled a small brain of some kind. It sounds crazy, but curious as to what in the world it was, and especially what it was doing in my drinking glass that had only been there for a short time. I decided to let it be for a while, you know. I continued with the task at hand of washing the dishes. It's a task to me. I can't stand doing dishes, but I do. You know, you can't drink out of dirty glass all the time. And I wondered the rest of the night what this blob was and just how in the world it got there. So the next evening came, and I come home from work, and there this glass was, with this blob in it. And it seemed it had grown in size and really taken upon the form of some kind of brain of some creature. And I was kind of getting concerned and knew for sure we had spawned some sort of creature in our house behind our sink in a drinking glass. Now we have a wonderful exterminator who was readily available, and I talk to him daily actually. He's a good friend of mine. Yet he's going to think that I have flipped out when I call him to describe this thing to him. Not to mention, I'm sure you guys are thinking the same right about now. So later that evening, after it had been about 24 hours, I asked my grandson, I'm sitting there playing video games, and I asked him, I said, have you seen that brain in the glass of water on the back of the sink in the kitchen? He gives me the same look I anticipated my exterminator would give. He says, no. I tell him, come look at this. So we proceed into the kitchen, curiosity hitting the limits by then. And I'm bracing myself for this mass exodus and searching all the evacuation routes of the house. The front door, the back door just goes straight through the roof. And this little stinker, he's 8 years old. He says, oh, that. I'm like, that what? He says, oh, well, I put my chewing gum in that glass of water last night just to see what it would do. Apparently put me in a mental institution. So if you guys ever get a call, that's me. But it got me to thinking, what others may seem and see as a small, insignificant thing, given a different perspective, are huge things. So this brought to mind what Paul said to the churches at Corinth. If you will, turn your Bible with me to 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 25. We'll start there and we'll go all the way through 29. He says, because the foolish things of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. For you see your colleague, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. Get this, but God hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And God hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty, and the base things or lowly things of the world, and the things which are despised, God has chosen. Yes, and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are, that no flesh should glory in His presence. Nobody should glory in themselves. You know, quite often we see things as or people even, Lord forbid, Sometimes we see people as insignificant. But you know, God has a completely different perspective on that. Just like that brain that I had, that I thought I had in a glass of water, that I saw was a huge ordeal. Sometimes things that we see as a huge ordeal, there's nothing beyond the reach of God. Sometimes we get into problems or situations that we see as a huge ordeal. God says, I got it. It's a small thing to Him. God can take care of anything. We can do all things through Christ who gives us strength. But you know, quite often we see things as little. We may see ourselves as little when it comes to serving God. But once again, God doesn't use wise things or mighty or noble people. But He's chosen the foolish things of the world, what this world may seem as foolish, to confound the things of wise. Those people who think that they're wise, God uses the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. So what others may see as small and insignificant thing, given the different perspective, and in God's perspective, are huge. See, it's the little things that make the biggest impact. And I'm just going to leave you with that thought. It's the small things that make the biggest impact. You know, we can go out, we may think it's insignificant to just pray for someone. Someone asks you to pray for them, you say, yeah, I'll pray right now. You think that may be a small thing. But you know, we may be the only God other people see. We may be the only word other people see. So don't get caught up in thinking that it's the small things, that it's something small. Because if you're doing it for God, and if God's in it, it's a huge thing. We have a mighty God. So I'll leave you with that and just say this to be continued at your local church. And we'll see you in church on Sunday morning. Thank you.